sovereign citizen videos. I'm just going to talk about this a couple of minutes. There's a couple of issues that I have. Going back, I'd say at least 6 months, have been watching traffic videos and sovereign citizen videos. Sovereign citizens, if you don't know, are a group of people who interpret the Constitution differently than everybody else. A lot of times they say they're people who are above the law. I don't see that being correct. They think that we should all have a certain way of interpreting the law, and they have a different opinion. I mean, in my view, there's the article, I think it's the 10th Amendment that says the states have power and the states can do what they want. They seem to totally ignore that. So these people will come up and bring arguments in, and they seem to never work in the court. And there's lots of videos with them. Okay? And there's lots of hosts that's all they do is sovereign citizens. The first guy I watched, he was like a white guy with glasses. I'm not going to bring up, that's all I'm going to say about him. He's a white guy with glasses. Seems like a real hip guy. Seems like the kind of guy you'd want to go take out with you if you were going bar hopping, because he was the kind of guy who could walk up to any woman and spark up a conversation. He might help you pick up chicks. He had tats all over him. But he seems like a, hip sort of guy. And I think he was the first one I started watching, and I just quit because he was just so vile and so mean about everything he said. It was just over the top. Just seemed over the top, some of his comments. There's another guy that's an African American guy. He always wears a hat. He has a simple name, and his videos are good. He's likable, but lately he started to think he was a stand-up comedian, and he wanted to be like the white guy that was doing that. He's not even funny at all. I've never heard him say anything funny the whole time, and he keeps saying it's funny. I don't know why we have to laugh. If I wanted to laugh, I'd go get a Bill Burr video, or I would get a George Carlin video. That's what I would do if I wanted to laugh. That's what I would watch. I wouldn't go to a sovereign citizen if I wanted to laugh. I don't want to laugh. I want to see something. I want to be involved in human people, in humanity, if you will. Okay? Now, for my thing, I have been involved in legalistic matters for years. The first time I was involved in a legal matter was in 1979. I had a DUI in Tennessee. And I'm not going to say the name of the city, but it was in Tennessee. And I had a DUI, and I went to an attorney, and he told me that I was going to lose my driver's license for a year. All right? And he says, there's nothing you can do, and you're going to have to serve 4 days. And I said, I don't want to serve 4 days. I served overnight, and I said, I don't want to go back there. And he said, well, I'll tell you what you do. You're going to pay me, I don't remember what he told me, but you're going to pay me X amount of dollars to take care of this. It was like $500, $1,000. I don't know. I was working. I had money. I was doing okay. So he said, but you can give me $100, all right? And it won't go to me, but you'll have served the 4 days. So we went to the courthouse that day, and we were in the courthouse, and there was some kind of civil matter being tried by the judge. I don't remember exactly what happens. I don't remember anything. I know there was a district attorney there and there was a judge. And they were talking back and forth. And after that was over, there was nobody in there but my lawyer, the district attorney, and the judge, and me. That was the only people in there. But nobody in there. With no crowd, no audience, nothing. Everybody was sequestered out. And they told me that blah, blah, blah. And they went through this. And the judge says, put in the record that Mr. Daines served 4 days. So essentially, I bribed a judge and a district attorney $100 so I didn't have to go to jail. That was my introduction to the legal process. And then I went through all other things that I did. And the last time I was involved in anything legalistic was my divorce, which I thought my lawyer could walk on water. Anything that he did, anything that happened, I wouldn't do without him. There's no way that I would not use a lawyer if I had any kind of trouble. Even though I'm a smart guy, and I remember being in one situation where I was in California, and I would go to the law office and come up with all these ideas and ask the lawyer this and the lawyer that, and he acted like, what the hell are you talking about? But he was nice, okay? And I thought he helped me. So I have no idea why anybody would want to go in front of a court and not have an attorney. That's beyond me. Now, one more thing I want to say. These judges say, they said, you're going to be your own attorney. And they say, well, would you do brain surgery on yourself? So I thought that was ridiculous. So I looked it up. I looked up, how many attorneys do you think there are in the world, in the United States? Okay. There's 1,330,000 attorneys. Okay. How many brain surgeons are there? According to Google, there's 4,000. So for every one brain surgeon, there's 330 attorneys. So I think that those attorneys and maybe judges, there's a closer thing to judges and attorneys, maybe they add up. But to me, that's ridiculous. That's a ridiculous analogy. Most people wouldn't even want to work on their own car, and they wouldn't. Maybe you could, change the tire on your bike. By the way, that was Spiro Agnew's, my favorite quote by Spiro Agnew, or anybody or any politician. He said, "What is an intellectual?" He said, "An intellectual is a guy who couldn't change the tire on a bicycle." That's what he said. So anyway, I enjoy them. I think that they need to lighten up. I think some of these people raise serious arguments about government power. People should be concerned about government power. And I do find them entertaining. All right, out.